All right. Good day. February 15th, 2025. Weekly update. Let's go. This is going to be a little quick. Uh, Woke up a little later than I wanted to and starting a little later than I wanted to. I mean, I think it's going to be a little quick. I don't know, whatever. As you can see, I'm not in Vanessa right now. She's in the shop. She's getting fixed up. Um, it's a little lame though because the mechanic told me that um, finding an extra door and then a panel for the van is a little tricky because they don't make those parts anymore. So he's having to scrounge around and see if he can find a place that still has a part. So hopefully he finds something. Hopefully. Then there's the insurance part. Hello, Mr. Bird. Then there's the insurance part, which is saying that he's thinking that they might make Vanessa be a total loss, which is gonna suck because, well, I'm not exactly 100% sure what it means, but if I'm not mistaken, I think it means that they basically just want to give me a check for the value of the van instead of fixing it because it'd be cheaper than trying to fix it, right? But that's my thinking right now so far. Obviously, I don't want to do that because she's also my home. But I mean, I could definitely still keep possession of the van, and then just take the check and then just live with that. But I don't know. I don't know if you can insure a vehicle that's been written off as a total loss. Maybe not. I don't know. It just depends. But that's lame. But it is what it is. Vanessa still runs though. Just the passenger door has a giant dent in it. Dent is an understatement. And then the fender rubs up against the tire when I make right turns. So it is what it is. It sucks. So what else? What can you do? She still runs, which I'm happy about. You know, I drove her around for the better part of about a week until I got my rental, and that's what I've been driving since then. So that's kind of like the highlight of the week, other than doing some open mics, which was nice too. The biggest thing with today, definitely though, is I am 3 years into comedy now. 3 years. It's it honestly doesn't feel that long. It feels very, I don't know. It's wild because I worked in IT for 10 years, 10, 11 years. And during like the last job that I had, right, the last IT job, I definitely remember just dreading work, dreading it, and I just like not enjoying it. And I definitely, over the 5 years that I worked at the last IT job that I had, I definitely distinctly remember wanting to quit at least three times. So you do the math, and that's roughly, wanting to quit every 1.25, I think, 1.25, 1.5 years roughly. Yeah, 1.5. And so I really haven't felt that way with comedy. I've had doubts for sure. I have uncertainties that come to mind when I think about, is this gonna work? Am I gonna be able to make a living off of this? Am I gonna get good enough to be really funny on a show and then build an audience and build a following and then have that following want to come out and see me and pay, right? Am I gonna actually be able to do that? And I'm hopeful that I will, but it's doubt, right? It is what it is. It's doubt, right? I doubt myself because I don't know. And I have confidence that I can do it, but just time will tell. And so, other than those doubts, I really haven't had a desire to quit. I've had moments where I'm just like, is this really what I'm supposed to be doing? Like after I bomb, Yeah, definitely. I definitely have moments where I'm just like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? Um, but then you get over it and you find a way to adjust, and you hope that your adjustments don't, or they minimize the chances of that happening again. And that's all you really can do, honestly. That's all I really can do, is just continue to try my best. And when I stumble or fail, get back up and keep trying it again. And it sounds so cliche, but like at the same time, that is what you're supposed to do. That's what you need to do. And it it's hard, but oh well. So here I am, 3 years in, and the only thing I can really say is that I know I'm funny, because I've definitely made groups of strangers laugh. I don't know how I do it sometimes, honestly. I don't know. I don't get why I'm funny sometimes. I don't get why some of the things I say make people laugh. Um, Usually after I make people laugh in an instance where I wasn't trying to make anyone laugh, I'll think about it for a moment. I'm just like, why did they laugh? Like, what was funny about that? I don't get it. Um, and that's it. Like, I try to figure it out, and I don't know. Yeah, I need more data. I need I need to assess those situations more. I need to be in more situations like that. Um, and so, oh wow, but 3 years. It's been fast, honestly. You know, like, yeah, I work basically every day. I take one day off a week, but yeah, every day. Every day I'm working on something. I'm doing something to move myself further along the path, right? Every day I'm trying to assess what decisions I need to make and what moves I need to begin, so that I can get myself to a place that leads to success. And and for me, success honestly is just paying my bills. Honestly, that's my measurement of success, financially speaking. Being able to pay my bills, wife and kids and family, like that's kind of a given. That kind of goes without saying. Um, but I mean, yeah, I mean, that's why anyone does it, I think, right? No one wants to do something and be a failure, right? People want to be successful. They want to have some form of acclaim attributed to them for doing something that other people didn't think they could do, or that the person didn't know that they could do. And so when you achieve that, when you're doing this thing, they're just like, oh wow, like I actually did it. In the same way that I have my doubts about myself, and like, is this actually going to work out? And then it does. It's like, holy crap, I did it, right? Like, I actually did it. There's something about that speaks to the character of the individual. That's like, yo, you you saw through the cloud of doubt, right? You saw through what it was you perceived to be a weakness about yourself. And then not only did you look through it, but you found a strength that you didn't know about yourself either. And it's kind of one of those things of like, oh wow, I found this strength. What other strengths could I possibly have that I haven't tapped into, that I'm I'm not using? So success, everyone wants that. Everyone wants success. Every comedian wants success. In my opinion, at least. I know I do. Um, and I hope I get it. I pray to God for it. I pray to God for guidance. I pray to God for patience, wisdom, strength to go on stage and do well um, after a bombing. Just like help me see what it was that I did wrong, what it was that I could have done to avoid that situation. Was it a different joke? Was it approaching the crowd differently? Was it handling a heckler in a particular way? Was it handling a heckler in the wrong way, and I should have actually been nice to them instead of being mean? Right? It's so many different little things that go into it that I'm just like, all right, pray to God. What else can I do? I mean, I can work at it, and I do. I definitely do. I know that. But still, it's hard. It's hard because there's just so many variables that go on when someone gets on stage. Just there's a lot. There's a lot. And then you get up on stage and you're in the midst of this chaotic environment with all these different things going on, right? The fluctuation of who's in the crowd, the fluctuation of who went on before you and what they said, and then there's your material and how you feel about it, and then there's the culture of the country at that time, with respect to that crowd and what their thoughts are on that culture, and then what you're saying about that culture to that crowd, and whether or not they agree or disagree with your particular position, right? And that's not even touching your material, which is like, are these new jokes? Are they old jokes? Are they relevant to the conversation, or are they completely contradictory? And then the subject matter of the jokes, right? There's so many things. There's so many things that's going on when someone gets on stage. It's insane, right? And then there's also the factor of is the crowd even paying attention to the comedian, right? Some people just don't get that attention when they get on stage, and it's unfortunate. And I don't know why it happens for some people and it doesn't for others. But oh well. Oh well. What else? What else can you do? What else can you do? Honestly. So 3 years. 3 years. It's pretty cool. I can't say I've seen every comic, but I can definitely say I've seen a lot of comics. And I've talked to a fair number of comics. And I've noticed you don't run into too many 5, 7, 10-year comics. You don't run into them very often. It's definitely a thing. Time in. It's definitely a thing. Something like, you meet a lot of new comics. There's always new comics. There's always new comics. There's always like, oh, I've only been doing it for 6 months. Oh, I've only been doing it for a year, right? But there's always like this gap in terms of like the comics that I meet, at least. There's always like a gap with like the comics who've been doing it from like 3 to 5. I've noticed. I don't meet too many comics that are like, oh, I've been doing it 3 years, 4 years, right? It's like 7 and 10. That's the real, I guess you could say, the marker, right? I don't know why that is. Maybe people move away. Like I was in San Antonio. I was there for 2 years and then I moved. Now I'm in Houston, right? Maybe the 3 to 5 year comics, they move from the city that they started and they go somewhere else because they're like, all right, I'm gonna if I'm serious about this, I'm gonna go somewhere else and do that, right? Do it there. And for me, from Houston, it's like LA or New York. Although personally, I would go to New York. But if and when that'll happen, I don't know. So 3 years. Here's to 3 years. Let's start year 4. keep experimenting in year 4, keep trying out different things, keep writing new material, keep trying out different perspectives, keep doing open mics. And once I wrap up year 4, year 5 is when I really plan on like, all right, now let's start doing some jokes. Now let's start really focusing on writing, like really writing jokes. If that makes any sense. I've always looked at it as like, you go to undergrad for 4 years to get your basics down, and then after that you go to grad school to specialize in a particular thing, right? After you've got your basics down. So I'm taking that approach with comedy, which is that 4 years of undergrad in comedy, where I just experiment, try stuff out. I don't really focus on shows. I'm not really worried about that. And then after that, 2 years of like really focusing in on like, all right, these are the things that I've observed that work for me. So let's focus on that. And then maybe throw in some experimentation here and there. But otherwise, that's what I'm going to focus on. And just keep going. What else can I do? So that's me. That's been my life. Thank you very much for watching. Like and subscribe if you like this. And God bless. So have a good day.